Hey, GlowJob fam. Before today's episode, we have a quick little survey for you. We would love to get to know all of you guys better, and we just have a few short questions located down below in the description box. As a thank you for completing the survey, you'll be automatically entered into our giveaway. It features a bunch of our favorite skincare and beauty products. Thanks and good luck, you guys. Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We're the only podcast to make you hotter and smarter. So what's new with you, Sasa?
I got a perm. It looks so good.
Thank you. I got a digital perm, which is a little different than a traditional perm.
You know, I always thought perms, there's like a Korean phrase called like ajima, like old lady, and they get this super tight coiled perms where it's kind of like Golden Girls-ish.
Like a Jerry curl look.
Yeah, but this is chic. It's giving volume.
Yes.
It's giving effortless volume.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was literally my goal though, because it's like, you know, with East Asian hair, it's like very straight. It's very flat. There's no volume. And I've always craved volume. And now I have it.
Enjoy it.
Thank you. I'll enjoy it for the next 6 months and then reevaluate what I want to do.
So let's kick it off with a little bit of beauty news. What is on deck for this week?
Well, really big news recently. Poppi prebiotic soda just got acquired by PepsiCo for $1.95 billion.
That is so crazy. I believe this brand started off in their kitchen mixing apple cider vinegar and juices back in 2018.
Yeah, husband and wife duo in their kitchen, 2018.
Good for them.
I know, crushing it.
Next, telemed health company Apostrophe was shut down by their parent company, Hims & Hers.
Yeah, and this really came out of nowhere. So customers were promised refunds and they were all directed to transition to Hims or Hers for their telehealth needs. Now, I used to use Apostrophe. So this came out of absolutely nowhere. I was like, what am I supposed to do with my skincare prescription? I usually used it for, like, I've used it in the past for tretinoin, sometimes for like prescription strength azelaic acid. I went on to Hers to see what my options were. And do you want to know what they provide for telehealth derm?
I'm guessing not the same exact thing.
Nope. The only option you get is an anti-aging cream that is apparently a mix of tretinoin, niacinamide, and azelaic acid, available in 3 strengths. So it's not very customizable. It's just like 1 SKU, or technically 3 SKUs are shipping out. So like people who go to Apostrophe for very like personalized scripts now can't get what they need.
So I guess they're either like SOL or they have to go to like an actual derm.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's any other kind of telemed health that give those types of products.
There might be a few other smaller ones, but Apostrophe was big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bummer. Next up, there was a huge recall from several brands, including La Roche-Posay, Proactive, and Walgreens. They were voluntarily recalled for various acne products due to a potential benzene contamination.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And I think the reason why it was recalled is because benzene has been linked to causing cancer. So I think it was a voluntary recall, which means that they weren't actually infected with benzene or contaminated, but you know, a potential risk is still a risk that clearly these brands are just not willing to take.
That's scary.
Okay, so that's a quick summary of the GlowJob news. We just launched this brand new feature on our Instagram. So if you want to stay up to date with all the other news going on, you can check it out there.
Okay, guys, so today we are going to be diving into Gen Z and all the fun beauty trends that are happening with Gen Z.
Yes, I wore my baggiest pair of jeans for today's episode to prepare, but we are going to be breaking down kind of everything. By the way, Gen Z is 1995 to 2010. So we have a lot on the agenda, everything from pimple patches, kind of getting into the ethos of like why this is such a thing, but we'll get into that. But also they're flipping the script on overconsumption and even kind of bringing back some of the old school beauty trends while simultaneously canceling others.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about the cancellation. They love canceling stuff.
It's their favorite thing to do.
So let's talk about pimple patches. I cannot believe that they are such a big thing.
So one of the brands, Starface, was in the news recently because they just had this full kind of business insider coverage that they are projected to make $90 million a year, which is insane because it's just stickers.
It's literally just stickers.
Yeah, so the brand was founded in 2019 by a former Elle Beauty editor. Her name is Julie Schote and entrepreneur Brian Bordanic. But really, I never in a million years thought pimple patches would ever be a thing, but Gen Z just can't get enough of them.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they wear it like a badge of pride, which is something to me that feels very foreign. Because like when I have a pimple, all I want to do is hide it. I'm like, how do I hide this from my face? I don't want anyone to know this is on me. But in some way, a pimple patch kind of calls attention to it, but in like a fun way. At least with Starface, they make it look really fun.
Right? They're all like cute colors. They come in a bunch of colors now, different shapes. I don't know if Starface makes them, but I've seen Hello Kitty sticker pimple patches.
Yeah.
But to me, this trend is so wild because I know I've mentioned that when I was a teenager, I had a couple years of really, really terrible acne. If I had to use pimple patches, it would be my whole face. No, literally, it was so bad. Yeah, I had all different types of acne, cystic, pustular, anything in between. But yeah, my whole face would have been like one big star face.
Okay, maybe
my nickname would be Starface,
which is not a bad nickname. It'd be cute.
Better than pizza face.
Oh, people used to say that a lot. That was really mean.
See, I think maybe kids are just nicer these days.
No, I don't think so.
Are they meaner?
I think kids are always mean. Every generation has a mean girl, right?
I guess so.
It's like a different type of mean girl, but we'll get into that. We have some interesting stats here. For Starface's Gen Z and Gen Alpha consumer, so this is, people between the ages of 13 to 24, this customer base has jumped from 44% to 60% since 2021, with sales growing 93% in 2023. And the overall pimple patch market is expected to grow from $500 million to nearly $1 billion by 2033. So in less than 10 years from now.
That is absolutely insane. But when it comes to pimple patches in general, like the whole technology behind it is something called hydrocolloid patches. Mm-hmm. And they were originated in the 60s. And what they're designed to do is kind of this like gel-like substance, but it sucks out pus and oil. So it was originally for wounds and wound healing. And they're really popular amongst people that undergo surgeries. For example, cesarean sections, C-section scars always get paired with a hydrocolloid patch. But basically, they're just taking like a hole puncher to these larger hydrocolloid patches, like a hole puncher to make these pimple patches. But it's supposed to be good because, again, it takes out that oil, it takes out that pus, but then it also prevents you from touching the pimple. Totally. Which is genius.
It's so genius, but also I find it interesting how there are these things like hydrocolloid patches or like hypochlorous acid, things that were previously used in medical settings that are now being kind of co-opted for bigger skincare / beauty trends. Isn't that funny?
There's so many, right?
Yeah.
Like even things like growth factor serums.
Totally.
You know, or I think it was with Virtue Labs, like the science behind the keratin in a lot of their treatments. That came from a soldier / scientist who was using it for research on the battlefield. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
So hydrocolloid patches for acne have been a staple in K-beauty for like more than 10 years.
That's so wild. So I feel like that's kind of the trend all the time, where it starts off in Asia and then it like somehow migrates to the United States and then just totally explodes.
Charlotte Cho of SoGoGlam, didn't she say that she introduced them to the US on SoGoGlam in 2012? And now it's their #1 category?
That is so crazy. But that's not like, she's not the only person that tried to popularize it. It was her. And then also with Hero Cosmetics, Jane Rue, who is also Korean. She made $630 million off of Hero Cosmetics, whose, best products are definitely their pimple patches.
I mean, okay, first of all, she launched in 2017, sold it in 2022, 5 years. 5 freaking years. And then they got bought by Church & Dwight, which, by the way, is the company that owns Arm & Hammer, like the baking soda.
So that to me, like how does that happen in 5 years? I haven't seen, like, not even, when you think of like buku bucks like that, you think of like the startup world, tech money, AI, whatever. That doesn't happen in 5 years. Not even for those types of companies.
Smart girl.
Rich girl.
Ooh.
So let's talk about what makes Starface different. I think unlike the Korean pimple patches that were really meant to be worn day to day and really just kind of conceal and blend into the skin, Starface did it a bit differently all through their branding. So they're colored orange, yellow, blue, pink, any color, and they're literally shaped like stars. And they've kind of become like this mini status symbol amongst the Gen Z.
Totally.
The Gen Z.
The Gen Z. I think it's really interesting that Starface deliberately avoids using words like blemish or imperfection. Like that's a part of their branding.
For sure. I think it's super, super, like very much a conscious decision when they do that. And the founder has even talked about how they intentionally avoid those things because they know how damaging it can be to a teenager, tween, whatever, however old they are. But just to, have it be thrown all those negative terms in their faces all the time. Like zit face,
pizza face.
What else is there?
I'm sure the list goes on. Like I'm not thinking with my teenage brain. If I did,
I know. I think we outgrew that mean girl.
I know.
I don't think we ever were that mean girl.
I don't think we were. Was I a mean girl? I don't think I was.
I was angsty girl.
I was angsty too. I was a little sassy. I talked back a lot. I was a real like smack talk kind of girl.
But that at least isn't mean girl.
That's true. That's true. But I think also like in terms of like them avoiding words like blemish, imperfection, there's a real focus on this whole like optimism and joy in acne care that I find really interesting with Starface.
I think it's good. I think they've done such a good job at kind of combining not only a product that works, not only in healing the pimple, but preventing picking and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, but also doing some good to the human psyche and how you feel about even buying acne products. Because I remember, again, when I had acne, I felt so freaking desperate all the time because nothing was working. It was like embarrassing how many different products I had. And you didn't want to talk about it with your friends, right? Like I can't imagine going out with like I remember it was like a stark white paste from Neutrogena.
Oh.
Like I would just not want to be seen with that whatsoever. So I remember I would load it up really thick on a zit and I would leave it on until the last minute when I was about to like head out to school or head out to anything. And then I wipe it off. But it's nice that they don't have to deal with that kind of stress even.
I know. Now you just throw a sticker on, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I feel like every time I open up TikTok, there's some teenager out there that's posting a TikTok of them with a pimple patch on them.
I know. One of my favorite accounts is Northwest and Kim Kardashian because they have a mommy-daughter account.
Wait, that's so cute.
Yeah, and they do a lot of videos and like they just do like skincare together, but their Starface video gets like 30 million views.
Damn.
And all she's doing is just waving around, pimple patch, 30 million views.
Crazy.
I know. She's definitely on their PR list.
Oh my God.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember Hot in Here, Nelly?
Yeah.
With the Band-Aids?
Of course. Oh my God. Yeah, it's totally giving me that. It's so funny.
No, I mean, I guess he was the original.
Yeah.
Because I guess, you know what? It's so funny. So it's maybe not pimple patches and Band-Aids on the face, but he did explode Air Force Ones.
Did he really?
Yes. So
like back in the day?
Way back in the day, like before the song came out, like Air Force Ones were not very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
They were definitely one of the cheaper SKUs of Nike shoes that they used to have. And he and his friends just made this song singing about how much they love Air Force Ones, buy me 2 pairs, etc. And they absolutely catapulted Air Force Ones back into the scene, really making them like way more desirable. They were literally flying off the shelves and now they've become one of the best selling SKUs within Nike with all the customizations. And, they even have like collabs with Dior and things like that.
Crazy. You know what also I was thinking of? Like this is a couple years ago, but maybe it's still relevant with the kids. I mean, Air Force Ones are back.
They're back.
It's always girls wearing like those Air Force Ones, but they're not like white. They're like dirty, right? It's like the dirty Air Force One. So it looks a little scuffed up and
like
it's
worn in.
Yeah.
I mean, they come in so many colors now. I don't know if like Nelly ever got a kickback, but I know he got his own shoe.
Good for him.
I mean, it's not like he's got like the Michael Jordan money from.
I know. I never heard of the shoe, so I had no idea.
From Jordan's Air Force Ones?
No, you said his own shoe.
Oh, no. So they just let him design his own Air Force One.
I thought you meant like as a Jordan.
Oh, no. There's no like Nelly shoe.
Yeah.
They let him like pick the colors of the Air Force One.
So like the lowest bar.
The lowest bar, right? Like he's not, again, like Jordan's made Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they
billionaire.
made him. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that movie?
I loved it.
So good.
Yeah, so good. I mean, Starface, obviously, mega Gen Z, but also this one I find interesting. Touchland, the hand sanitizers, they are like a collector's item amongst Gen Z kids.
Are they collector's items or do you collect them?
I collect them. I collect them too. They are just so fun. So, okay, a little background on Touchland. They launched in 2018 from a Kickstarter fund, by the way. And then COVID hit, so they had to relaunch and kind of pivot their strategy. But basically, Touchland, their revenue grew from a little shy of 16 million in 2022 to over 100 million in 2024. That's an insane growth trajectory.
And all Touchland is they're just small pocket-sized spray-on hand sanitizers.
Yes, but they're very aesthetic and beautiful.
That is true. They are really pretty. And I know they come in a lot of flavors or scents.
Yes, fragrance. So that's the other differentiator. So, like most hand sanitizers just smell kind of like alcohol-y, or if there is a scent, it's not, I wouldn't say it's very refined. What they do is that they actually work with special perfumers who are the ones who are formulating for high-end brands like Dior or like Chanel. So very high-end fragrance. And they customize each scent for each hand sanitizer. So they'll be like like a watermelon something or vanilla, French vanilla this, but they're really unique scents. I think there's like a rainwater one that I really like. They smell a lot more sophisticated than a traditional hand sanitizer.
Okay. Well, I mean, like Purell just smells like straight alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how big this company has gotten. I know that the Wall Street Journal covered them recently, calling it like, just like Starface, but like a teenage status symbol.
Yeah. It's giving me Tamagotchi. It's giving me like Pokemon and Beanie Baby, that kind of collectible.
Yeah. And it's so funny because in the article, they were talking about how teenage girls now, they like to collect them and trade them with each other.
Interesting. Yeah. I kind of get that though. It's like, it's a nice tangible thing to do and like connect with your friends, right? If you're like playing with them, because they kind of look like, because they're white and they remind me of like iPhone-esque kind of design. It's like rounded edges.
Yes, they almost kind of look like those old Mac computers, the one that had the candy colored, those big fat ones from way back in the day.
I love those.
But they kind of look like those. But I get why they are adorable. So I get it. And I guess parents like them because they keep their kids really hygienic.
That's true. And it's not like, I guess, makeup. If they're going to Sephora and they're not buying a bunch of makeup, they're just buying a hand sanitizer.
I mean, they do sell them at Sephora, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's so weird how all of these teenage girls love collecting shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's something new. Like clearly they like collecting, whether it's going to be like a Touchland hand sanitizer or, like Rhode lip balms. But like back in the day, we weren't collecting those, but we had our own little niche things.
Yeah. What was yours? What did you collect?
Beanie Babies.
You did?
Oh yeah. It was crazy. I collected so many of them. And I've repurposed them recently.
Wait, I know what you're talking about. Oh my God. Wait, I need to share. Oh no, you need to share this. This is too special. You have to share this.
Okay. So I collected hundreds of Beanie Babies over the years and my lovely, lovely parents saved them all for me. And recently, maybe a couple years ago, I went down to the storage unit, found them all, looked up if they had any resale value on eBay, and turns out they don't. You can buy a box of 20 for like $4. And so I decided that I wanted to make some artwork out of them. So I bought an Acapulco chair, some fishing wire, and some zip ties.
A what chair?
An Acapulco chair.
I've never heard that.
It's just a style of chair that is kind of made out of rope. So it was really easy for me to then fasten the Beanie Babies onto the chair. So it looks like this Frankenstein of a Y2K barf bag of Beanie Babies, just kind of like exploding out of this chair where they're all just kind of zip tied and hand sewn on. But I love it.
It's amazing. I've been to Julia's home. One time, the first time I was in your bedroom, I walked in and I clocked it and I go, Julia, what the fuck is this? But I was so fascinated. I'm obsessed with it. It's so cool.
I don't let a lot of people sit in that chair. And I let you sit in it because you're so skinny. No.
But yeah. Wait, I love that because I have now a photo of me in that chair. And at one point, that was the background of my phone for a little bit. Because I was so obsessed with that chair. I would show it to everyone. I was like, look at this.
Well, I'm glad you like it because some people come over and they just look at me and say like, you are unhinged. Like that is like ungodly and needs to be burned. But no, burned into our memories because it's a An amazing chair.
It's the level of unhinged.
Yeah, but it just shows how much my parents loved me because they
Aw.
bought me so many freaking Beanie Babies. But I also remember for every single birthday party, I would, the only gift I would request is Beanie Babies.
Really?
Yes. So every single kid just brought me a bunch of Beanie Babies, and I was that girl.
Wow.
I was that girl for many different phases. For all of fourth grade, I only wore purple. It was a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hated purple for the longest time. Only as an adult have I realized I actually love purple.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but I spent an entire year only wearing purple. I spent an entire year only wearing boys' clothes.
Huh.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were doing that?
I think that was third grade. I had a lot of phases, but I don't know what that says about my like mental state. But anyways, back to collecting things.
Yes.
I think one of the things that's so funny to me is how obsessed not just girls and teenagers, but like grown-ass women are obsessed with collecting things like Sonny Angels and Labubus. Can we talk about that for a sec?
We need to talk about this. One, first of all, I didn't know what a Sonny Angel was until I met you. And then once I discovered what they were, I became obsessed with them. And also another sidebar, maybe this is a thing, maybe not, I don't know. Is it something about like Asian women? Do we love to collect little things? Is that like a cultural thing?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of white girls like Sonny Angels.
That's true, but I guess I was in San Francisco in their little Tokyo mall, and it's in the Japanese bookstore, and there's just so many of the Sonny Angels, and it's like everyone in there was like an Asian girl with her boyfriend and trying
But also you're in freaking San Francisco. Sorry.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Well, I didn't know what a Sonny Angel was until then, but they're so cute.
You get the hype now.
I get the hype. It's a little, in case you guys don't know what the heck we're talking about, it's like these little figurines. It's like a little baby. It's a baby figurine, and the distinguishing factor about them is that you see their butts. It's like their little butts.
You also see the dick and balls. Sorry, but
do you actually?
Yes.
Oh, you're right. It's like a tiny little dingling.
Yes, they have genitalia.
Yeah.
Microscopic genitalia. But that's not the defining feature, Sasa. The defining feature is the hats.
Oh, well, I'm seeing the baby junk, and it's kind of like, it's a lot. Yes, they have cute little hats that they wear, and it'll be like in the shape of fruit or like.
That's what makes them collector's items. You gotta collect all the different hats.
I know, but the butt is in your face.
So you like them because of the butts?
I think it's cheeky.
Literally
cheeky. And it's a cute little baby. But those are very collectible. And then the Labubus. I first of all, I love saying the word Labubu. It's so much fun.
Yes, but it's so crazy how hard these are to get. I've been trying to buy one of the keychain Labubus, and I'm like so close to just buying a freaking knockoff that I see on like Amazon or Walmart, but I just can't get myself to do it because I know it's not the same. But they're just these little ugly ass dolls.
They're fugly. That's the definition of them. Like, it's like people try to tell me it's ugly cute. I just think it's kind of fugly, but still fun and collectible.
Yeah, to me, it's like it's for those people that like pugs.
Yes.
You know, like pugs objectively are hideous. But they're proof that humanity has gone too far because we have overbred this poor dog
that can't breathe.
So it just looks like I don't even know, like a rolled up pile of towels. But like basically, like I think that's the kind of people that like it.
Interesting.
And I do think pugs are cute. So maybe it's
pugs are cute. I get that. I mean, like, I don't own any of these things, but I do understand the reasoning or like the mental desire to have them, because like the one thing I do have that when I was in San Fran that I bought and I showed you before is my bunny that I tie to my purse. And it's like a little.
But that bunny is like chic and bougie though, because it's actually like real. Like it's real fur.
Yeah, I know. But like I get the reasoning for having like the Labubu, like little dangly thing, you know, on your purse, or like the Sonny Angel on your phone. I get it. It's like having a cute little accessory is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this bunny.
It's so soft.
It's so soft.
So speaking of fugly, I know like you mentioned Labubus are fugly, and maybe like Gen Z kind of has this, I don't know if it's an attraction to fugly, but just kind of like deviating from regular beauty norms is one of the trends that I've noticed, specifically when it comes to like euphoria style makeup.
So I don't consider that fugly. I actually think that it's kind of fun. Like fugly, we'll talk about fugly later. I have a different definition.
So I think I don't know if it's fugly, but it definitely deviates from more traditional standards of like what beautiful makeup looks like. I think, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that does.
It does.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to articulate myself, because it's not that I think that like the crazy graphic eyeliners or the jewels are ugly by any means, but maybe it's like, maybe I am just the classic millennial viewing things from like the male standard of beauty.
Yeah.
And because like it's not very like, I
It's
guess,
not conforming to like the standard norm of beauty.
yeah, I was thinking like, like VS Victoria's Secret makeup beauty, right? Like that was really the beauty standard of our day.
Yeah.
So I think that nowadays I think Euphoria makeup is so fun.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of like, I would never wear that.
Right. It's like, would you leave the house with that? With glittery, not glitter, but like, would you leave the house with like gemstones and like a bright green eyeliner?
I mean, if I was going to a rave.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a themed party. But I hear that like, not all these kids, but they wear this shit to school.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what like teachers must be thinking when someone's walking in with a not demure green cut crease.
Yeah.
But
That's cute. But you know what I find really interesting is that like, okay, so they'll have like really graphic looking eyeliner, these bright colors and stuff like that. But speaking of, this Euphoria trend makeup, I heard that on the set of Euphoria, there was no foundation used, which is so interesting.
Yeah, so they did no foundation. I think they just did skin prep and crazy eye looks essentially in the outfits. Yeah. And it really, I think that kind of made it like the show is so good because even though it's so outlandish, it still feels kind of real amidst all the drama. And I think keeping the people's skin kind of fresh and natural and still very much looking like teenager skin, I think was kind of the key there.
Okay, so sidebar, I actually never watched Euphoria, but like from the
so good.
Really? People would kind of describe it to me as like the Skins of like this generation of like a Gen Z.
So I never watched Skins.
I watched Skins. I consumed the shit out of Skins.
Okay. I've heard of Skins. I never watched Skins. I don't know. When I was growing up, well, I guess like, I don't know what age Skins came out, but when I was in high school, and even in middle school, my mom kind of had this rule. We didn't watch a lot of TV. And especially when I was younger, we weren't allowed to watch like TV shows that had people in them. We could only watch cartoons.
Until what age did you have this rule?
And every time I watched, I'm not even done with the rules. And every time I watched TV, I would have to watch it with my brother. So when it came to watching shows, like I never grew up watching like the Friends or the Gossip Girls or any of those like the OC Hills. Those were so foreign to me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because like basically if you have to watch TV with your little brother, they don't want to watch the same shows as you.
So what did you watch?
We would watch like Cartoon Network, game shows, Survivor. I think the game shows were definitely popular. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That was like the heyday for like those like types of shows.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I think I consumed all of the TV when I was young, whatever that means for me and how that might have messed me up. But like I watched like The Hills, OC. I watched
Gossip Girl. I know
I watched Gossip Girl. I didn't like Gossip Girl though. I know a lot of people loved it. Skins, Seinfeld, big Seinfeld fan over here.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get into any of those until like college.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Regardless, so to me, I never really watched, like, I don't know if Euphoria is for kids or not.
I don't think it's for like kids, but like
I don't think teenagers should be watching that show. Some like it's like very dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like the drug use is wild. Like the sex is wild. Like I don't know kids like that.
Did you ever watch that movie called 13 when we were kids? Do you remember this? Because it's giving me, so again, I never watched Euphoria, but it's giving me the vibe of that movie 13. And it's literally about two teenage girls who are 13 doing crazy ass shit, like having sex, doing crazy drugs, like debaucherous
so I
things.
wasn't even allowed to watch Friends or The Hills. Where am I going to be watching 13?
As an adult.
So I've heard of this movie just because like people have talked about it, and it's like with like Evan Rachel Wood, I think.
I don't remember her name, but that's probably who it is.
Okay, I forget who's in it, but like I know the movie. I've never watched it. Should I watch it?
You don't need to, but the other one that maybe you might want to watch is the one with Chloe Sevigny when she was younger. Is it Kids? Is that what that movie was called? Similar vibes, where it's like a bunch of little like, teens or preteens in New York City. And they're doing like also debaucherous shit that I don't know. I don't think a 13
So they're just like bad kids.
kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't say bad. Maybe. It depends on your definition of bad. But like kids doing bad things.
I mean, but Euphoria is crazy. Like when I think about the kids on Euphoria, I'm just like, wow, I never want to have kids if they come out like that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to be like, I know like you don't send your kids away to wilderness camp anymore, but what do you do? I know it's like a fucked up joke. I would never do that. I would never do that. But like, what do you do when your kids come out like that?
I don't know. Send them to boarding school?
Maybe. I guess like boarding school is like boarding school like the rich alternative to wilderness camp. I don't know. Paris Hilton went to wilderness camp.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who went to wilderness camp besides Paris Hilton.
No, I think some of the bad kids that I knew would get sent to things like army camp.
Military school.
Military school. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew kids who went to military school.
Yes. And there was like one school where all the bad kids went. I forget what it was called, but it's like after they get... Why am I laughing?
Is this in LA?
It's in LA. I forget what it's called. But like after they get expelled from their schools and go to juvie and shit like that, then they go to this one school for all the bad kids. I don't know what it's called.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, heavy.
I only knew one kid who went to juvie.
Yeah, but anyway.
Major tangent.
No, but like, I think it just goes back to show. In a previous episode, I was saying that like my biggest fear is teenagers.
Yeah.
Euphoria
Teenagers.
But they have a great cat eye, graphic eyeliner.
That's so funny. Okay, but like speaking of like going back to the show, we actually met Donnie Davy. Yes.
Yeah. From Half Magic.
Half Magic. So she was the makeup artist for the show, and she had launched a new makeup line called Half Magic, which is pretty cool.
And I love it. Like the branding is definitely not like the in-your-face euphoria that she does. Like, but it is super fun and whimsical, which I think is what captures the euphoria vibe. And now that I think about it, like the fun and whimsicalness, like of the brand, of the eye, of like the crazy graphic eyeliner looks, etc., is kind of in line with a pimple patch.
It kind of is, yeah.
Right?
In your face, like bright colors. Yeah. I remember the Half Magic, she has like those eye crayons that are really fun in a lot of different colors. It makes sense. All this kind of vibes.
Yes. So I think the next trend that I'm kind of thinking of, and it's kind of like an amalgamation of a lot of different Gen Z trends. And it's funny because it's kind of also the opposite of euphoria makeup is this like clean girl, clean beauty, conscious consumerism trend that I know Gen Z is also super into.
Yeah, that's so true. But you know where I feel like this stems from something before their time. I feel like it's rooted in like the millennial, I'm thinking like Glossier look. I feel like Glossier really brought this to the forefront.
Oh, for sure. For me, they were like that first, like very mission-driven brand, right? All about like radical self-acceptance, like really just kind of having, even going back and how they made that like their eyebrow gel, that very first product that
Boy brow,
thank you, that really put them on the map. Like that was just kind of going and leading towards like non-feminine brows, like literally boy brow.
Yep, exactly. And also that natural look. Like I remember when they launched their tint, people would literally say like, this is just made for girls who are like pretty. It's like, if you have nice skin, you can wear this, but anyone who has bad skin can't wear this shit.
Yeah. And it's so wild because like, I know that on one hand, this whole like clean girl, clean beauty aesthetic really kind of touts that they are all about like radical self-acceptance, accepting your flaws, etc. There are some girls that just do not fall into that category, right? Like, whether it's they need like more heavy duty concealer or like color correction or covering up zits, like they just can't. Can you be clean girl aesthetic if you're trying to like cover up mega like skin issues?
I mean, I don't think it's really possible unless you're embracing the pimple patch and just having them everywhere.
Maybe, but I feel like, it's funny to me. I know in our first episode, we were talking about trends and we are talking about fake freckles.
Yes.
But to me, I have this theory that a lot of people like fake freckles because it gives the illusion of perfect skin. Because when your freckles show, it means that you're, foundation is so light and sheer that, your natural skin can show through. So I don't know. I don't really love the clean girl and clean beauty aesthetic.
So I think for when people say clean beauty, I think that term gets kind of muddied. Like, I think there are two different things that people are talking about, right? So there's like clean beauty in terms of what people think of on the ingredient side, which I have some qualms about and I feel very strongly. And then there's like the clean girl look. And those two things are in different camps. They can overlap, but they're not always the same.
I feel like some brands like to try and force them to overlap, especially when it comes to like the aesthetics of the packaging, right? Like we are a clean beauty product, packaged like a clean beauty product for girls in the clean girl aesthetic, right? So I feel like they kind of have this overall arc. Like I think one of them that kind of toes that line is like the Refi packaging, right? Like super minimalistic, right? Maybe?
Yeah, it does. It definitely gives that look. Honestly, I was even thinking a little bit, maybe they don't push the clean beauty so much, but this is also tied into another thought I have. But I was thinking of like Rhode. Rhode gives that kind of look, it's like clean girl aesthetic, maybe toes the line of clean beauty. But also, I think that nowadays, especially with Gen Z, there's the automatic assumption that all brands need to be like clean, like, like no parabens, no this, no like added things.
But my problem with it is that I know consumers are getting more and more educated and savvy, but do you even know what clean beauty means?
That's the problem. I don't think people know.
I don't think they know what any of that means. Like, can you tell me what a paraben is? Can you describe the function of a sulfate? Like, do you actually know why these are good or bad? I think that it's still like a highly contested issue in the beauty community about like whether or not, because essentially a lot of those things are just preservatives, right?
Yeah. And here's the other thing is that like, I think what people are saying about clean beauty, and there's a lot of folks out there who say, I don't want chemicals in my personal products. I hate to break it to you, but everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical.
Oxygen is a chemical. It's really crazy to me. I think the biggest thing we hate about clean beauty is all those brands that try and tout like basically raw materials as beauty products, like freaking beef tallow.
Yeah.
That to me is clean beauty. And it's just really just like bad packaging. Like whoever is selling that to people to help with their acne is just a bad person.
Yeah. And it's like, I think when people are thinking clean beauty, they think it means quote unquote natural products or like naturally derived products. And just because something is natural doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you. Like you said, beef tallow, coconut oil. Do not ever put coconut oil on your face. That is so comedogenic. And yeah, just because it's natural doesn't mean quote unquote natural doesn't mean it's good for you.
Yeah. But the Gen Z crowd, they definitely do love this ideal. And I think a lot of this generation really does focus on kind of like the ethos of certain things. They're really passionate about political activism, about climate change. And I feel like those sentiments truly do drive how they make purchasing decisions.
Yeah, totally.
And one of the more interesting things about clean beauty is I feel like it puts so much emphasis on skin. So when Gen Z is really favoring this clean beauty, I think they just love good skin. And that's like the best flex you can possibly have.
That's so true. Yeah, I feel like our generation, like millennial, was more about like glam, right? It's like
full glam, 2016.
Big ass eyelashes, like a full beat, all those things. And the response is clean girl.
And so to me, it's kind of this idea. I don't know how to describe it, but I've always heard it as kind of rich girl skin.
Ooh, yeah.
Where there's just that one girl that who's just like fabulously, effortlessly, like wealthy and cool. And she just has that skin. Mm-hmm. And so I think that is kind of what they're going for here. But back in our generation for millennials, like when you wanted to flex, it was like millennial culture, Y2K was very much like bling, bling, labels, look at how much money I can spend at Sephora on these like makeup products. And I guess they just didn't have like clean or minimal makeup products back then. So it's like, look at how much money I can spend on like this heavy duty concealer, eyeshadow, etc.
Yeah, I think of like a YSL makeup thing. You know what I mean? Like with those YouTubers and stuff like that. That was like the cool thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So going hand in hand with this whole clean beauty, clean aesthetic thing, I feel like Gen Z is also very like conscientious regarding consumerism, and they're very much tying all of their purchasing decisions to like a company's ethos. Yeah.
And you see it so much in these brands when it comes to their marketing, not just talking about their climate impact or sustainability promises, but even things like mental health.
Yeah, I think Rare Beauty.
Rare Beauty and how they're donating to these causes and how they want their community of people that are buying from them to focus on their mental health.
Yeah. Community is such a big part of it too. I feel like every beauty brand now is like touting their community.
Yes, I hate to be like that cynic,
Yeah.
or that person that's like skeptical, but I think community is also really good for just like creating repeat customers.
Sales. It's just like a hidden lingo for sales. More sales.
Yeah, it's like companies that kind of refer to their employees as family.
Oh God, I hate when
Like
people
to me,
say that.
it kind of touts that line of being so similar of, I don't know, not tricking people, but just making them look at things a little bit differently.
But like sidebar, isn't that what marketing is?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's so weird when you have these ethos focused brands, because essentially at the end of the day, it's still consumerism.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to capitalism, like you just say what you need to say to sell the product, to grow the business, to become bigger than your competitor. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels a little like hypocritical sometimes.
It does. It really does, for sure. Because at the end of the day, the founder and the team, like they're just trying to make a buck, feed their family.
Yeah. Make you buy more stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like that's how the world turns, right?
It is. But maybe Gen Z and some people just kind of ignore that or forget about that. Because when I hear Gen Z and watch them on, TikTok or Instagram talking about these brands that they love, they really, they drink the Kool-Aid, through a non-plastic straw.
Like the metal straw you own.
Yeah.
So there are obviously a lot of these like climate driven, like Gen Z popular brands. But to me, the epicenter of all of them is like Rare Beauty and the whole mental health component. I think that's such a big Gen Z brand.
Yeah, she does such a good job of embracing her own mental health, right? And then giving herself this platform for it. And I think it's great. I think it's good to have conversations about that. Personally, I don't know if I would have those conversations.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that's also a generational thing, right? Like, even though I'm like cusp millennial Gen Z, maybe I do lean a little more millennial on that side. But have you heard of like the recent Selena Gomez, Hailey Bieber drama?
No, tell me.
So it's wild that it's still centered around a freaking man, Justin Bieber. Yes.
Oh my God.
After all these years.
Okay, tell me more.
But there was this 7-part series that was...
7? Okay. All right.
I know. That's going viral.
Yeah.
Across social media, talking about how Hailey Bieber is still obsessed with Selena Gomez. Oh. And the creator of the series came with receipts. They were talking about how, like, literally just a full-blown timeline about all of these. I don't know if they're theories, conspiracy theories, or real hard facts, but about how she is just so obsessed with Justin Bieber, how their marriage was orchestrated by celebrity churches and celebrity Christian, like those kind of like Christian pastors.
Wait, okay, sidebar. Hillsong, because he used to go to Hillsong.
Yes.
I used to go to Hillsong in New York. I've been to a Hillsong.
Oh my God.
That guy, that pastor, no, not good. Bad boy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's crazy. So, but they're connecting all these crazy webs, really reeling you in. But just talking about how like Hailey Bieber was an industry, just like a Nepo baby, and her dad through the church got her married to Justin Bieber, how Justin Bieber said it was an arranged marriage. And then the receipts that I'm talking about was just a bunch of side-by-side pictures of every time Selena Gomez would do something, Hailey Bieber would copy her.
Like what?
Whether it's an outfit, like literally, I wear camo pants with flip-flops. I wear camo pants with flip-flops, like straight up from Mean Girls. So whether it's an outfit, how they're posing in photos, but the worst one is, Selena Gomez has a little sister and got a tattoo behind her ear with the initial of her little sister. Why the fuck did Hailey Bieber get that tattoo, that same tattoo? She doesn't have a little sister.
Wait, what was the tattoo?
It's a small initial of the letter G behind her ear.
Wait. And Hailey Bieber got a G behind her ear?
Behind her ear as well. And,
what does the G stand for?
So she says it's for her pastor's daughter, whose name starts with a G.
Hailey Bieber said this is for her pastor's daughter.
Yes.
Okay. So the thing about the outfits, I feel like that to me is like low bar. Anyone could wear camel pants and a flip flop and just be like, I wore this, you wore this, huh? You copied me, but that's not a real thing. The tattoo, that is weird because why do they both have a G? Like, why the letter G and why both behind your ear? That placement is peculiar.
It's weird. And like Selena Gomez has a reason to get a tattoo for her little sister.
Yeah.
Why are you getting a tattoo of your pastor's kid's name?
It's crazy. Also, sidebar, her little sister's name is Gracie, right? For Selena?
Yes,
Okay,
Gracie.
yeah.
So it's a little G right behind the ear.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the pastor's kid's name is, but
it's so removed.
it's
Why?
so weird. And so, people are saying that Hailey Bieber is like a stalker, just kind of copy and pasting everything. There are instances where she's being accused of doing drive-bys past Selena's house. And to me, it's like, one, why the hell do people still care about this?
Yeah, I know.
She's like married with a kid now. Selena's moved on, but I think that I don't know. We're talking about it, but it's a thing.
It's a thing, apparently. Oh my God.
I hear Hailey Bieber's pressing charges against the creators of the 7-part series.
No way.
Yeah, she's mad.
I'd be kind of pissed too if I were
Would you
her.
press charges?
I have no idea. I've never been in that situation.
To me, it's so interesting. I don't know if Selena Gomez, she does have this crazy dedicated fan base, and for good reason. She is fabulous and amazing and so talented, but they hate Hailey Bieber. So I don't know if they're just kind of concocting these tales because in my mind, like Hailey Bieber has so much that on her plate.
Yeah. Also, wait, I thought people really liked Hailey Bieber. Or is there like a Selena and then a Hailey
There
camp?
are two camps.
Okay.
There are two camps, and it's like, it's real bad. And in terms of, I think there have even been cases years ago where Selena Gomez had to publicly request her fans to leave Hailey Bieber alone.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, so
people go crazy.
Yes, people go crazy.
Damn.
But I don't know if that's real or not real, but the tattoo thing is weird.
It is really weird.
And just in general with how Gen Z like to buy things, whatever, I think overconsumption is truly a trend within that generation. And it is kind of ironic, right? Like they definitely tout themselves as being conscious consumers, going for founder-led brands that have a really good, messaging and goals and missions. But that doesn't mean they're not overconsuming.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably spending so much because one, they're doing these like crazy 15-step routines and then their skin breaks out and they slap on a pimple patch to fix it and they got to refix it and they're always just buying more things.
Yeah, they buy a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It's wild. And I guess, yes, you can still be a conscious consumer and an overconsumer. Those two can definitely go hand in hand. But when you look at all of these like crazy skincare routines, to me, as someone who has spent a lot of time trying to learn about skincare, both of us, that's why we went to esthetician school. It's just so funny just watching them literally in real time wreck their barriers.
Yeah. There are stats about how Gen Z spends within beauty, and Gen Zers like to spend a lot of money at them Sephora's and Ulta's.
So there's this Forbes article that actually went in and broke down how much Gen Z is actually spending on things like beauty. There's this writer, her name is Patty Asahi, and she wrote a book. It's like hilarious title, but it's called Never Date a Broke Dude. And what she does is she just provides financial advice. And she was saying that Gen Z on average, they spend $2,000 a year when it comes to beauty products. And
Wow.
that to me is kind of a lot, but I also think that's on the low end, if that makes sense. Like I thought it would have been way more than that.
And so she actually recommends that you spend no more than 2% of your annual income on beauty products. And to give you an example of what this would actually look like feasibly, so let's say you make $50,000 a year. After tax, that's probably about $42,000. And so your beauty spending on $42,000 after tax should be no more than $840 a year.
$840 a year is less than half of what the average child is spending.
Yeah. And also Gen Z, half of them aren't even making money yet.
So I think the average kind of college graduate salary is $56,000 when you first start graduating. So that means that if Gen Z is spending $2,000 a year and they should be spending less than half of that, that is wild. I don't know where their money is going, but Well, I guess it's going to Sephora.
It's going to Sephora. I mean, Patty was saying that there's really just no way of reaching your financial goals if you're spending over $2,000 annually on beauty when you make like that kind of money, like that commensurate $50,000, a year. It's how do you save if you're spending it all on makeup and skincare?
I mean, I can't lie. I was really bad at managing my money when I first graduated.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. I was so dumb.
Really?
Yes. The first time I got a commission check from my first job when I was working in tech sales, I bought a Balenciaga bag.
Oh, yes. I remember you've told me this.
Why did I do that?
Because you got money. It's fine. You know what? It's you were a kid.
At least it was a commission check and
not your salary. See, that's different. I always thought of it. I was always really frugal about like salary versus like bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Although then I became very frugal about bonuses too, because I was like, you need to save. I need like a rainy day fund. But you know what? It's okay. You're fine now.
I'm fine now. And I still have the bag, which I guess Gen Z can't say because they're just using that stuff up.
Makeup. So we talked a lot about the trends of Gen Z for beauty, but also they love to cancel things. And I feel like we got to talk about some of the trends that Gen Z has canceled from the millennial era.
For sure. To kick it off, and this one hurts me the most, is winged eyeliner.
Really? Oh,
I know. To me, it's part of my signature look, and I haven't given it up yet, but I hear winged eyeliner canceled.
Yep. And another thing they canceled were skinny jeans.
This one also hurt my feelings.
Did it really?
Yes. I loved skinny jeans. I did not throw them away because I know that trends are cyclical. Mm-hmm. They're going to come back and I'm going to want them. Hopefully I still fit into them.
You will.
I will.
Yeah.
But regardless, I love skinny jeans. I found them like the right pair can be so flattering.
Interesting. So I never really got that into skinny jeans. The only time I ever wore them was when I was wearing like a knee-high boot. That's the only time I'd wear a skinny jean.
For sure. I always like, skinny jeans, knee-high boots for sure. What else did I wear them with? Oh my God. I mean, I had so many of those like classic chuggy millennial outfits where you would wear it with like workwear on top and like go out with it. Like how millennials really like blazers and like
oversized
statement necklaces for sure. Or even, oh my God, choker necklaces. I was really into those for like the black fabric ones.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I went through a phase where I was like really into, I guess maybe I never consider myself like peak millennial because I don't own like a live, laugh, love sign or anything with like a chevron print. But I guess there are other tells that I am from that generation.
A true millennial.
Yeah, for sure.
Another beauty one is mascara. And this one is like so baffling to me.
So this is a newer thing that I think they're trying to get rid of. And I don't know why, but I think I can kind of assume it's because they are maybe canceling that kind of like fake eyelash extension craze that has been around for probably way too long now.
Yeah. Okay. It kind of makes sense, but like, I don't know. I love mascara. It's so great.
I think it's great and I do wear it, but at the same time, I am not mascara's target audience. Like I have the tiniest, most thin little like Asian lashes. So I feel like nothing is ever going to give me sky high volume or...
Yeah. I mean, like for us, it's like straight. We just have lashes that come out like this. They don't curl.
No, so I only wear mascara so it kind of can blend into the rest of my eye look.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it for lengthening. I'm not looking for anything thickening. Nothing's going to make my lashes thicker. I just want it to look a little bit longer and like a little more lifted.
And it gives some definition to the eye, which is nice. Yeah. But I guess millennials say no more, Sasa.
Oh, gutted.
So they're definitely like canceling some things, but there are also some things that they're bringing back from the dead, totally resurrecting them.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's talk about this. First of all, I want to talk about the fashion looks. They have brought Y2K fashion, like early 2000s fashion, like, capris and like low-rise jeans and all these things that I thought gave me the heebie-jeebies when they were like, in vogue when we were growing up. Like, what is happening? Why is fugly fashion coming back?
It's coming back and it's coming back in full force. Like, but some of them I do like I guess like the baggy jeans. In the beginning, I thought they were the dumbest thing in the world. I'm like, imagine stepping in a puddle, right?
But here's the thing with the baggy jeans, that also gives me like Jenko jeans. Like this is like skater vibe jeans that used to be really popular, the super wide look.
Oh, baggy jeans are Y2K in my opinion.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's just like, it's that. I think a lot of like even Euphoria makeup kind of leans towards Y2K makeup with really kind of like crazy club rat looks. Like I'm thinking like Paris Hilton back in the day where they would do like the frosted lip or even like the kind of like Britney Spears frosted blue eyeshadow. Like that to me is not too far off from Euphoria makeup.
That's so true. Yeah.
Other things are bringing back that I just, skinny eyebrows.
Oh yeah. I'm so surprised by this. And again, remember when I talked about like the advice my dad gave me of like, never make your brows thin? I'm thinking about that right now because thin brows are back.
So what I don't understand is like, again, when I'm on social media, they now have these filters to see what you would look like with skinny eyebrows.
No way.
And these girls are showcasing what they'd look like and be like, oh, fighting the urge to do it. I'm like, no, girl, you look bad.
DM them. No,
I'm not going to say it because I don't want to be that girl. You can do whatever you want to your eyebrows. But the fact that they're even thinking about it, I just don't think they truly understand the repercussions.
They don't. They have no idea what's going to happen. So, despite all these trends and the fact that I'm like not too into the Y2K look, I feel like with Gen Z, they still look really cool. And so I think, no, but they do. Like they have like an aesthetic of cool to them. And so on that same vein, I feel like Gen Z just doesn't have an awkward phase.
I think that's probably true. Like when I see these teenager girls, like, because maybe it's because they're like chronically online and see all of these tutorials. Like YouTube was only available to us when we were a bit older, right?
Yeah.
But, they have all of these like tutorials. Like they all know how to do a blowout.
Yeah. What's up with that? I didn't learn how to do that till very recently.
Right? Like I see these teenagers with like rollers in their hairs for these like bombshell blowouts, even with their little like Y2K skinny eyeglasses or whatever, like
I do like those.
Yeah, they are cute. But like they know how to do blowouts. They know how to like do all this like contour. Like we went through the trenches trying to learn how to contour. It was a mess.
I've messed up many a time.
It was a literal mess, but like they just all like know how to do it, know how to do it so well.
Yeah. I feel like I could talk about Gen Z all day long.
I know. We got to do Gen Alpha next, right?
Yeah, totally. But before we wrap up, you guys, be sure to send us any questions you guys have. We're doing AMAs now. So shoot us a DM or email us.
Yeah. So any beauty questions, lifestyle questions, if you want to know more about Gen Z.
Yeah. Or about us. I mean, any question you got, we'll answer it.
Any?
Almost any.
We'll see.
Yeah.